Wow guys, GOJO vs MAKIMA is just incredible. There is literally nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Okay, that's obviously a lie. Nothing is perfect, unless you're me, of course. Haha, subscribe! But I'd be lying if I were to say that this episode isn't good. Despite me not having a connection to either character, I was actually really excited for this episode. Yeah, it was another King W, but after watching the sneak peeks and the preview, my hype levels were through the roof. So let's go into why GOJO is so goddamn amazing. And MAKIMA is there too, I guess. Starting off with the analysis, and I actually don't mind either of them. They're pretty entertaining for what's given. I do have a problem with the both of them, but we'll get to that later. Starting off with the absolute Chad himself. Yeah, GOJO's analysis is pretty freaking great. From the moment it starts, I immediately fell in love with it. I adore how much they hype up GOJO. Dude is an absolute king. Just like a certain other king I know. Are we sure GOJO's real name isn't Brent? I also love the way how they explain Limitless and the rest of GOJO's abilities, even though they are incredibly complicated for my tiny monkey brain to understand. I also really like the joke before the cutaway. The cutaway itself, that's whatever, I could care less about it. But Wiz maniacally laughing while bringing up math is absolutely hilarious, and I love it. You know what else I love? The editing! My god, it is beautiful. It's so smooth, I swear, DJ might as well be GOJO with how good his editing is. And it seems like he's getting better with every episode. Bro is built different. The only real complaint I have is that they don't really elaborate on the calcs they bring up. They just mention a feat, show a number on screen, and that's it. They did the same for MAKIMA, but it's the same thing. I really don't like it. Speaking of the redhead, MAKIMA's analysis is also pretty good. Once again, the editing. It's phenomenal. I also like how they go over MAKIMA's powers and devils that she has at her disposal. The opening joke where Wiz just bluntly tells everyone to panic is frankly hilarious, and I love it. And that's really all I have to say on it. I mean, it's not bad, far from it, I just don't have that much to say on it. Except that I don't really like how far they went into spoiler territory. Now, personally, I don't care about spoilers, especially for this since I'll probably never watch or read Chainsaw Man. But for someone else who would potentially want to get into the series, yeah, it goes a bit too far in my opinion. Anyway, that was the analysis. They're both really good. Now moving on to the animation, because that's what I really want to talk about. Okay, before I fully gush about the animation, I have to talk about the part before it. I like them going over some ground rules before the fight. It really makes this episode feel special despite it being pretty normal. But more importantly, GOJO hits the Gwitty. They show GOJO hitting the Gwitty. I love this so much. Okay, now, finally talking about the animation itself, and I immediately have to gush. Not about the characterization, at least not yet, but about the Easter eggs. Now, in the back, you can see specific characters, namely Guts, Chosen Undead, Darth Vader, and Alex Mercer. Now, if I recall correctly, there is a manga series called Fire Punch, which was made by the same person who made Chainsaw Man. And in this manga, the cinema acts as a sort of afterlife, which is why you can see the characters I just mentioned as they all died in their episodes. That is an adorable Easter egg, and I love it so much. Okay, now I promise I'll talk about the actual fight itself. It's really good, and I actually have no problems with it whatsoever. For starters, let's get the obvious gushing out of the way. The transition from hand-drawn to sprite is legitimately fantastic. GOJO falling, MAKIMA scolding him for breaking the one rule they have at cinemas, GOJO's finger gun, MAKIMA's finger gun, and MAKIMA headshotting GOJO with a chain all look fantastic. And the hand-drawn stuff looks good by itself. I especially love the giant fox demon, GOJO healing his leg. It was so clean and well made, just look at it! And the guy on the toilet, because it was a very funny joke which I honestly didn't expect to see. I mean, I knew they would show something along that line, but showing that it was a guy on the toilet that died is just hilarious. Moro just keeps killing it with the hand-drawn stuff this season. I genuinely hope he gets to animate his own episode in the future. And I also can't wait for his Hell of a Boss vs. Murder Drones video to come out. It looks so good. The actual fighting itself isn't too bad either. I love seeing how the personalities of the characters mesh with their fighting styles. GOJO comes across as very laid back and cocky when he's fighting, and he's often seen smiling during the battle when he's punching zombies and throwing out curse techniques. In comparison, MAKIMA keeps it very straight, having more of a cold and calculating style by sending her devils and frankly on zombies to fight for her. It's all good stuff. Speaking of their personalities, while I don't know what they're like in their respective home series, I can honestly say that I love how they're characterized here. Especially GOJO. Whether it be ruining someone's theater experience, falling to the ground, or making fun of someone for messing up their attack, GOJO is just fun to watch on screen. As I said before, he's very laid back, not really worrying about what will happen to him because, after all, he's Satoru Gojo, the strongest. The only time he gets quote-unquote serious is when MAKIMA blows off his leg as well as a few holes in his chest, and even then, he's still smiling as he uses domain expansion. I really like that. He's just fun to watch. MAKIMA, on the other hand, is not so different. Throughout the fight, she still keeps her cool. Even when GOJO pokes fun at her for not being able to bypass Limitless and blows her up, she's still very calm since she knows that she'll be fine. Really, the only time she loses her cool is when she riddles GOJO's body with mind bullets and starts to act more maniacal, cackling madly until she no-scopes GOJO with a chain and uses what I can only assume is the Angel Devil's power. While she isn't as entertaining as GOJO, I still think her portrayal here is awesome. And an awesome portrayal can only be matched by an awesome performance. I just adore the voice acting in this episode for both characters. Gianni Matragrano just kills it as GOJO. He nails the laid-back cockiness of the character, and despite having a lot of banger lines in this episode, I think my favorite would have to be when he uses his curse technique Lapse Blue, as it just really shows how relaxed GOJO is. On the other end of the spectrum, Kelsey Jaffer nails MAKIMA to a T. They both nail the cold side of MAKIMA and the batshit crazy side of her with the bang barrage, and it feels like the role was tailored for them. The death is alright. I like the build-up with GOJO healing his wounds and then using domain expansion to trap MAKIMA in the unlimited void. But the killing blow itself is a little boring, as it's another disintegration death. But hey, it's made up for with GOJO's banger line delivery and it looking very, very visually appealing. So yeah, the animation is sick as hell. The only real problem I have with it is that I think GOJO's sprite looks a bit weird. His arms look a bit too lanky, in my opinion. MAKIMA looks great though, I think her sprites are fantastic. The post-analysis is also fine, nothing too special, and nothing I really want to talk about since I hate writing sections for the post-analysis, because you never know what to talk about sometimes. It's normally just the same stuff they bring up, and yeah. Finally, the track. Who Wears the Crown is a really, really good track, and I like it a lot. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there. Theirwolf absolutely killed it with this track. Then yeah, that was basically GOJO vs. MAKIMA. It was a really good episode, and honestly, I think it might be one of my favorites this season. It's nothing short of a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just like how I thoroughly enjoyed predicting the next time. That's right, boys. Scooby vs. Courage is real, and I cannot wait. I have no idea who wins. I've like literally no stakes in this matchup. I really like both the characters. So I'll be fine with either of them winning. But I just can't wait to see what happens. It's an episode that I'm really excited for. I love Scooby-Doo. I love Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I cannot wait. I legitimately cannot wait for this episode. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit that like button as well as that subscribe button, and ring the bell if you want to see any more of my videos in the future. Follow me on my socials in the description below, and check out our reaction in the description below as well. We were very lucky to film this when we did, since it was on a day when most of us are busy. Please change the public episode releases to Sunday instead of Monday Death Battle, I'm begging you. Unfortunately, Lucariboi is probably not going to be making a review for this one, but in the meantime, you can check out his Spider-Man PS4 video, and if you're going to watch that, then you can also go watch my video on the Kirby series and why I think it is the greatest thing Nintendo has ever made. Anyway, with all that in mind, I'll see you later, Cap Nation. Bye-bye!